It me reporting whatever the fuck I want.
You don't own me.
Whatever.
You should be scared.
It's tea time. Hello and welcome to Tea Time with Sarah Holcomb, where I, Sarah Holcomb, and fellow comedians spill the tea on news stories that have been going down this past week while having a tea party at the same time. Today we have Ariel Julie. She's a wonderful comedian here in Chicago. And Dwayne Murphy. He is also a fantastic comedian in Chicago and hosts several shows here. Let's get into the tea.
Oh, yeah.
So, our first news story of today is a manager of a DoD, which is the Department of Defense, aerospace threat program, just quit his job at the Pentagon and decided to spill all the tea. It's only been 2 weeks since he left his job, and he decided to literally blow everything up. Basically, he's saying that the UFOs that we've all been hearing about, they're real, totally real. And he's got the receipts to prove it. And he says they are not blurry. They're not blurry. So
that's is that like the high-tech scientific language? They are, scientifically speaking, not blurry.
Not blurry. He's planning to provide never-before-released footage from real U.S. government systems, not blurry amateur photos, but real data and real videos.
Didn't we already know aliens existed?
Yeah.
We all?
We already knew.
Tom DeLonge has been talking about this for all of Blink-182. There's a song on their first album called Aliens Exist.
Exactly. Wake up, people!
Angels and Airwaves.
Oh my God, Angel! I love Angels and Airwaves.
I know.
Yeah.
They're great. That's how
they
he
did.
would. Yeah.
Everything about them was about going to space. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like he wasn't. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's what it meant." I'm like, he wasn't hiding it. Like, it wasn't a subtle reference.
Yeah.
No. I've heard astronauts on their deathbed are saying that they have experienced UFOs and seen some shit.
Pilots do it too. People that just fly like Spirit Airlines. They see aliens.
Well, they have no fear.
Highly underqualified.
Yeah.
For that.
No one's gonna believe you just because it's Spirit.
Yeah.
If this was Delta, I understand.
If it was Southwest, I'd be like, I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm still a little skeptical.
Yeah. But aliens are real, and this guy's he's got photos.
And he flies the Spirit? Is that what he does?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, if this actually does exist, which we know it does, and there are real alien peoples in the universe, if it would be like Xenon of the 21st century.
Okay.
That might be really
this
cool.
reference. Okay,
yes.
Let's talk about this really quick. Okay.
Zoom.
So if that's the case, then that means frosted tips are back.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually meet aliens in the first one. That was in Xenon the sequel. In the sequel, she actually talks to aliens, nebulous kind of like rainbow spice world. And then they have those crazy faces with Pope hats, little accordion fingers, and they tried to feel up ginger spice from the alien peoples.
Really?
Why are we slut-shaming aliens? That's my question. They're almost like the Northern Lights, but with consciousness. What if they don't even have it?
What if they don't even have it?
Whoa.
Right. And then
What
they
if
see
all they
us.
have is anal cavities?
That's true. This is how we communicate. You know what I mean? We don't know what the possibility is. Yeah. But do we get a chance to meet him? Is this guy from the Pentagon going to let us meet these aliens?
I don't think they have them in captivity, but
Alien zoo.
Alien zoo?
Yeah.
I believe that the Pentagon 100% has an alien zoo.
Oh, for sure.
Probably.
There's gotta be.
Yeah.
As far as the aliens go, maybe they literally have never been on a planet before, kind of like on Xenon, where they were born and raised on a UFO and don't know what it's like to be on a planet. That would be really insane.
Yeah.
For that to be your life.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? So in Xenon, though,
Z3.
Xenon, the sequel, and Z3, they're at the space station. Now time has progressed, so there are babies who are born on that space station who you technically could call aliens because they were not born on Earth.
Yeah.
Technically.
Wow.
Now, where are the aliens? That's what that franchise is about. Yeah.
We should all get jobs at the Pentagon. Sounds like
we are qualified.
We sound more than qualified.
No, I've just overanalyzed the Disney Channel original movie franchise, Xenon Girls.
Disney's been priming us for aliens for a long time. I feel like the entertainment as a whole has been priming us for that. So that's why I don't think people are shocked that, like, because it sounds like this dude wanted more, like, credit for saying that aliens exist, but didn't the Pentagon tell us last year?
I think he wanted like a Bradley Manning, well now Chelsea Manning kind of situation where like it was a big deal when she now dropped all those secrets and like there were like talks about it. It was a whole thing, and I think it sounds like this guy was like, I've got the tea, and we're all like we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen UFOs?
Yes.
Like, no. I did too.
Yes,
what was your experience?
So I had two of them. One of them was driving with my dad to South Carolina. We were driving late at night, and like literally right in front of us, there was like a giant green light that was in the sky, and like, it looked like it was rotating a little bit, and then it got really, really bright, and then it shot just back up. Right, and it's like we're in North Carolina late at night. There's no lights on the road. We were like driving, through basically woods and stuff. And then I remember looking at my dad. Now, my dad is a pastor, so I remember looking at my dad and being like, Dad, did you just see that? And he was like, son, it didn't happen. That's what he said to me. And I was like,
oh, shit.
So wait, so you did see it?
Yeah.
What you're telling me is that not to believe what I just saw.
That sounds like confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a pastor, so it's aliens is not in the Bible. You know what I mean? Actually, they are. But
yeah, they are.
I mean, when people say angels, like, how do you know the difference between an angel and an alien?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically, if you think about it, like, isn't that what we all describe when we talk about aliens? Something coming from above. And then
they're of another world. They're of another realm.
That the whole Bible is about aliens. You know what I mean? If you think about it, it's all about aliens and don't go to China. There's actually it's in the Bible.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, stay away from China.
Straight up. It's the beginning of time.
They're like, we don't like it.
They have. Yeah. Since the beginning of time, like 10,000 years, we have like record of everything. They were the first ones to write shit down. Yeah. They have history. Yeah. Nobody else, no other civilization has history like that. I would not with China.
Yeah. My story, I guess, is just very important to us here because it did happen in our city of Chicago. So I think that it's something we should talk about, obviously. A lot of people have seen body cam footage by now of Adam Toledo being killed by a police officer in an alley after being asked to drop his weapon, after being asked to stop, drop his weapon, and comply. He did all those things, had his hands up as a sign of like surrender and everything like that, but he was still shot. How does it feel to know the police can take the law into their own hands regardless of what they ask of you? Or,
well, first of all, didn't he throw the gun over the fence?
He threw it, behind
like, he didn't just drop his weapon.
Right.
He, like, threw it to a place where it was
nowhere near him.
It was inaccessible at the time that he turned around and was then shot.
I love how we saw it from the body cam footage, like from the actual perspective of the officer, and we even saw that his hands were up.
Yeah.
We are looking in the officer's perspective, and we still knew that his hands were up and out and spread, and he still shot.
Why is a police officer being trained to shoot this kid, or any person?
Right.
Why are you being trained to kill?
Right.
Like, why is that your training?
That's a great point to make because, police are trained in a very militaristic way. They're not trained to diffuse or to solve problems. No. You know what I mean? They're trained to go to war. You know what I'm saying?
But they never actually went to boot camp. So it's like they're not trained like real military, but they act like it.
Yeah.
And they're not qualified to do the things that they do a lot of the time.
A lot of people become cops because it's something they fall into. At one point in my life, I remember being asked, I had no direction. Then my own grandmother was like, "Why don't you just become a police officer?" Like, it's something people do when they feel like they have no direction.
Well, you don't need a degree. You don't need. It's almost like a trade school.
Yeah.
Like you could go into cosmetology without a college degree. Yes. You can be a welder. You know, like there's all of these different trades. Police is almost like a trade school. Yeah.
It's funny. Nobody talks about the motivations behind these people becoming police officers.
It is really weird to see USA Today having a picture of your neighborhood because this is like Logan Square is right there. We're in Logan Square. Then Little Italy is just a couple neighborhoods south. And it's so sad that this happened in our community. And we're probably going to have a lot more protests in Chicago. Lori Lightfoot lives like 2 blocks that way.
She sure does. I walk by her house whenever I go to the Blue Line.
Yeah, they be lit. I've gone to a few parties outside of her.
A
Those
party.
parties. They are. I've been at all these protests, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of loud music.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I did not vote for her.
Yeah, nobody. Not many.
No.
Well, I can't say nobody.
Enough people did.
Well, did you hear about the scandal that came out that she
Yes.
was that she was having relations with one of the cops that is constantly guarding her house. So there was like a scandal with her cheating, and then her wife fought her in the kitchen and then called the police, and it was this whole thing. And she's like, that did not happen. It's like, well, we all heard that it did. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay.
So call the police. They're sitting outside of her house 24/7.
Right, like,
They're
what's the
there.
point?
Open the door. There's no call the police.
Yeah.
But they're not always in their cop cars, because
No.
I drive past them all the time. I look and they're just like cop cars.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
just hanging out.
It's
That's
a
it.
prop.
Yeah.
It's props.
Sometimes, like when I'm walking, I walk down the street and they're hiding under trees, like down the street from her house. So it's like they're patrolling the entire block. And at first, I thought that it was just some random dude that was being creepy underneath the trees. So I like go back, and then he like steps out into the street light, and he's in full uniform, and I'm like looking aggressive at me, like stepping up, and I was like, okay, I thought you were a creep stalking me, and now you want to come at me in your uniform. Cool.
Yeah.
So
They want to be heroes. I guess if we get back to Adam, there was so much negative stuff that came out about him right away.
yeah.
What does it say? He was 13. All right. He had run away from home, I believe. He was gone for 2 days. He also had issues at the house and stuff like that, you know.
Well, what his mom said was that he had run away for 2 days, but then he was back, and the last she knew, he was sleeping in his bed. So this kid, 13 years old, as we all have probably done, jumped out the window, snuck out. Yeah, we've all snuck out, like, right?
Oh, yeah.
I snuck out.
I did.
I snuck people in.
That's a safer way. You never have to leave your room. It's like quarantine. Yeah.
It's like I'm a lady.
I opened the window. But I don't
Right up there with the BB dudes with the boombox outside.
It wasn't a boombox.
Yeah.
No, it was an iPod.
That's not. Well,
It was an iPod with speakers.
Nice.
I had a Zoom.
The quality.
I was one of those kids with a Zoom.
Yeah, the quality wasn't as good, but the sentiment was the same.
Yeah, but he snuck out, right? And
Yeah.
he was hanging out with bad people, hanging out with a kid who was like 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's a
Like-
21-year-old doing hanging out with an 8th grader, first of all? It's weird.
Hey, some of these 8th graders are real mature.
True.
I don't
That's
know.
true. Yeah.
True. But he did live with his mom and everything.
Yeah.
You know, you do look for father figures and older people and stuff. And, you know, maybe if they're not the best people in terms of, you know, what their deeds are and everything, how they influence you, that's one thing. But it's still, it doesn't justify all the things that this kid could be involved in. Yeah, he may have been a troublemaker. Yeah, they called him, I think on his street name was actually like Baby Diablo or something like that. Because, you know, he's in a gang and stuff like that.
Hey, let's be hard.
Yeah, I get it. But it's like, still the fact that, look at the circumstances. Gun was nowhere near him. Cop asked him to hold his hands up. He did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He followed.
Yeah.
So why did the guy shoot?
Yeah.
So why did you shoot?
Wow.
These police officers have this idea that because they're police officers, and especially in terms of how they, you know, come at black communities and stuff, it means like you said, I'm a police officer inside. I can tell them what to do no matter what, whether it's a grown man, kid, because in their mind it's just like you're black, I'm not, I'm a cop, you get out my way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the issue with some people are. I think that's what needs to. It's hard to vet that out when you're trying to find somebody in cops, but you have to take more effort to find that. They talk about psych evaluations and they talk about different personality tests that they give police officers to know if you're mentally fit.
But
you
also,
need to put stuff like that in
they
there.
give those tests before they are kind of indoctrined into the society. So sure, there are tests to see, like, up until this first day on the job, are you mentally, you know, where are you at?
Yeah.
But this is a job that changes people.
Yeah.
It changes you. And
Yeah.
there are police out there who have seen some shit that you should never see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are police officers out there who have never shot an innocent person,
Yeah.
who have walked into some heinous crimes that will absolutely affect you.
Yeah.
You know, but there's also a toxic masculinity, female or not,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, you know, you don't let it affect you. You don't go to get help. You don't see a therapist. You don't get, you know, consistent psychological evaluations. You don't do that because then you're a pussy.
There's a taboo with therapy, but you need to, like, that needs to go away. I think, like, you talk about, like, those psych evals, like you said, that should be regular. Like, maybe even, like, once a year or so, you should be going to see somebody. Let's see where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Because if you've been building up this tension of, like, I gotta keep control, blah, blah, blah. I gotta wrangle these black people up. You know what I'm saying? You are going to shoot somebody. The cops forget that these are people too. You know what I mean? Like that badge. And that's why, you know, it leads to stuff like this. These kids, you know what I mean? You got to remember that you're a person and they're a person. So, like, let's, you know, if they approach it that way instead of I'm the hero and you're the villain.
Yeah. It's a progression. Once you're in the actual group, then you take on the mentality of it.
You do.
That goes with anything, not just the police, but any sort of group that you're in,
Like
or especially newly.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Get involved in everyone's drama, try to stay out of it. I like being independent, so
I like gossiping.
on the time.
On the tea. I love to spill tea about
I'm out
other
of tea and I
comments.
can't sit with you. I'm sorry.
Is there more? Hopefully.
Okay, yeah.
And here you go,
Yeah,
sir.
we get some. Oh,
You'll
thank
find
you.
some. Oh God.
I
Okay.
was like, oh,
Well,
there we go.
that's okay.
Slow.
Baby sips.
Really savor it. You know what I mean?
So that was the tea. Thank you for joining us with Ariel, Julie, and Dwayne Murphy Jr. We'll see you back next time. Bye.